Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Radha Giri Govardhandari Shri Radhe. Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Shri Gaurnitai ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Granth Srīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 9, Text 12. Aho kashtam aho jnanam yad yuyam dharmanandana jivitum narhatha klishtam vipradharmachutashraya. Aho kashtam aho jnanam yad yuyam dharmanandana jivitum narhatha klishtam vipradharmachutashraya. Aho kashtam aho jnanam yad yuyam dharmanandana jivitum narhatha klishtam vipradharmachutashraya. Would anyone like to recite?
Aho kashtam aho nyayam
Aho kashtam aho nyayam
yuyam dharmanandana
yadyuyam dharmanandana jivitum narhatha klishtam vipradharmachutashraya. Anyone else?
Aho kashtam aho nyayam
Aho kashtam aho nyayam
yadyuyam dharmanandana
jivitum narhatha klishtam vipradharmachutashraya. Aho kashtam aho nyayam yadyuyam dharmanandana jivitum narhatha klishtam vipradharmachutashraya. Synonyms: aho, oh, kashtam, what terrible sufferings. Aho, oh, anyaya, what terrible injustice. Yat, because. Yuyam, all of you good souls. Dharmanandana, sons of religion personified. Jivitum, to remain alive. Na, never. Arhata, deserve. Klishtam, suffering. Vipra, brahmanas. Dharma, piety. Achyuta, God. Ashraya, being protected by. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhīṣmadeva said, "Oh, what terrible sufferings and what terrible injustices you good souls suffer for being the sons of religion personified. You did not deserve to remain alive under those tribulations, yet you were protected by the Brahmanas, God and religion." Purport. Maharaj Yudhishthira was disturbed due to the great massacre in the battle of Kurukshetra. Bhīṣmadeva could understand this, and therefore he spoke first of the terrible sufferings of Maharaj Yudhishthira. He was put into difficulty by injustice only, and the battle of Kurukshetra was fought just to counteract the injustice. Therefore, he should not regret the great massacre. He wanted to point out particularly that they were always protected by the Brahmanas, the Lord, and religious principles. As long as they were protected by these three important items, there was no cause of disappointment. Thus Bhīṣmadeva encouraged Maharaj Yudhishthira to dissipate his despondency. As long as a person is fully in cooperation with the wishes of the Lord, guided by the bona fide Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, and strictly following religious principles, one has no cause for despondency, however trying the circumstances of life. Bhīṣmadeva, as one of the authorities in the line, wanted to impress this point upon the Pandavas. Om Jnanam Tiramdasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadanti. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutha Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavane Bhyo Vaishnave Bhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So it's a beautiful verse, and there are two things practically that has been revealed in this chapter. The first thing that has been revealed is obviously the glories of the Lord. That's been revealed in this chapter. And the second thing that is revealed is how to follow our dharma. And what is our dharma? That is being revealed in this chapter. And this verse particularly talks about how a devotee can transcend all the sufferings, all the tribulations in their lives. So it's about transcending those miseries that we have in our life. And this particular verse is the verse from which the instructions of Bhīṣmadeva starts. So he is a perfect example, as we all know, Bhīṣmadeva, of dharma. And yet, so he is the perfect example of dharma, yet he is fighting from the side of Kauravas, trying to please Krishna. So he's on the other side, the wrong side, but he's trying to, his aim always has been to please Krishna. And as we all know that he is one of the 12 Mahajans. And it is very important for us to remember that he is one of the topmost authority when giving spiritual injunctions. Mahajana yena gata sa pantha. And anyone who wants to advance in spiritual life must follow in the footsteps of these great Mahajans. And this is one thing we have to be particularly important, because it talks about one who wants to advance in spiritual life. Yes, we often talk about how fallen we are, how much mercy we require, and things like that. But it is very important that our aim, I'm sure all of our aims is to advance in spiritual life. And if we want to advance in spiritual life, then we need to take inspiration from these Mahajans. And we need to make changes in our life when we are inspired by these Mahajans. So if we don't make any changes in our life, and we are just reading, it's not going to have any effect. So when we read these verses, we need to understand what are the changes I can bring about in my life for our spiritual advancement. This particular chapter of Srīmad Bhāgavatam is very moving and filled with instructions, as we find the grandfather of the Kurus and the Pandavas, Sri Bhīṣmadeva, lying on a bed of arrows. Sakirai Prabhu last week at some stage had explained in how much pain was he. There were so many arrows pierced through his body. Every arrow went through his body to the ground. And even a child's finger, there was not enough space for a child's finger to go through between two arrows. So we can see physically Bhīṣmadeva was in lot of pain, in great amount of pain. But when Pandavas, we saw in the last text, when Pandavas, Lord Krishna came to see Bhīṣmadeva, his eyes were filled with tears because he was so joyful. He was so happy to see to see Krishna and Pandavas there. And he forgot about his pain. We can see in this text that he starts talking to Yudhishthir Maharaj. It is said that the words of a dying man are particularly attractive, isn't it? If someone is dying and they want to say something, everyone will pay full attention to what that person is saying. Even in the material world, if a dying man is saying something, everyone wants to know what he's saying. And an interesting fact is that the most popular word of a man who's died on a battlefield or who has got some terminal illness through the battlefield is, any guesses? What would be the last word of a person who's terminally ill because of whatever happened at the battlefield? No, not Steve Jobs. Mummy. So if you say mummy, you go back to mummy. If you say Krishna, you go back to Krishna, isn't it? And it is very beautifully explained in Hari Bhakti Sudha Joy. Nrsingadev's pastime is actually explained in more detail. So Nrsingadev, where Hiranyakashipu was trying to fight with Nrsingadev, he was really trying to kill Nrsingadev. At one stage, he realized that he cannot kill Nrsingadev. And at that stage, when he realized he cannot kill Nrsingadev, what did he start yelling? Mummy. And this has been confirmed in Hari Bhakti Shuddha Joy book, which is actually quoted by Srila Prabhupada a few times as well. And he started yelling mummy as well, to which Prahlad Maharaj, who is generally very calm, who was very composed all the time, he lost all his composure when he saw his father, calling out for his mother. He said, "Why are you calling mother? Instead, you should be calling Govinda. And then Prahlad Maharaj started chanting on behalf of Hiranyakashipu. Because he wanted to show the way to his father, the correct way to his father. So we can see the words of a dying man we saw are very important, and Bhīṣmadeva is on the verge of leaving his physical body. My Guru Maharaj, when he left his body, one of the last words that he said was mission. And that is such a powerful word, mission. He was talking about, his Guru Maharaj then explained it to us. Mission means he has completed his mission on this planet. Mission means you have to continue the mission of Srila Prabhupada. You have to continue doing your services in the mission of Srila Prabhupada. So mission in itself has such a deep and significant meaning. And when that's the last word that comes from your Guru, that's the word that is engraved into your heart, and that's the route you want to take. So when Bhīṣmadeva is saying something, those words needs to be engraved into our hearts, because that is going to get us closer to Krishna. Ultimately, we all want to get closer to Krishna. So the end of, So as Bhīṣmadeva was about to leave his body and he is waiting for Pandavas, and Pandavas come in and Krishna come in, we see that what are the first words we can see over here that Bhīṣmadeva says? Aho kashtam, which means terrible sufferings, probably because he is suffering terribly. And the next word is aho nyayam, terrible injustice, because Bhīṣmadeva might not be happy with all the arrows that has gone inside him, not justified. One would think that he's referring to himself, but no, he was actually not referring to himself. The next line says, Yad Yuyam. He's talking about Pandavas. He's talking about all the tribulations that Pandavas has gone through, all the injustice that has happened to Pandavas. And that is the mindset of a great Vaishnava. They don't think about their pain, but they feel immense pain when a Vaishnava is in pain. They don't talk about their problems. They always want to discuss the problems of other Vaishnavas around them. And that is real Vaishnava. That is real compassion. In a world where we often talk about self-help, we talk about self-discipline, we talk about self-improvement, it's all self, we can easily be self-engrossed. The higher principle is we need to be self-situated. And when we want to expand our consciousness into that category, we have to begin with selflessness. And we can see Bhīṣmadeva very rightfully demonstrating that selflessness through the position he is in physically and through the words that he is using. He is being very sensitive in the way he is talking to Yudhishthir Maharaj. He is not telling Yudhishthir Maharaj, look at the higher principle. What are you thinking about? Why are you, so morose in this situation? No, he is not telling them. He is very sensitive Bhīṣmadeva starts with talking about you have gone through a lot of injustice, you have gone through a lot of problems in your life. And that is a good learning lesson for all of us. When someone comes to us with problem, we have to be sensitive to their problems. Though deep within we know there is a higher principle, deep within we know that this person is lamenting for nothing. And it's such a little thing. But we have to be very sensitive to someone's emotion who is coming to you. And we can take this lesson from Bhīṣmadeva, and we can talk about, yes, I understand your emotions, or whatever your way of talking to that Vaishnava is. But we have to be sensitive to people's emotions. And that's an important lesson. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, towards the end of his life, when he was struggling with cancer, he stopped all his, high-profile engagement, and he was spending a lot of time with Radhanath Swami. And even during those times, he was not thinking about, how can I go deep within? Of course, he was going internal. But when Radhanath Swami used to spend time with him one time, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj asked him, how did you join this movement? And Radhanath Swami, as we all know, has a great story, the way he got into the movement. So he shared. And then Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj's eyes lit up, and he said, you have to share this story with the world. You have to write this down. Radhanath Swami, he was a bit reluctant. He said, I am not going to write this story. I'm not going to talk about myself. I'm going to talk about Krishna. I don't want to talk about myself. To which Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj says, no, this is not your story. This is Krishna's story, because Krishna is involved in so many ways in the way you have gotten into Krishna consciousness. But Radhanath Swami was still reluctant. He said, no, I'm not going to talk about myself. It's not happening. To which, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, in a way, was senior to Radhanath Swami. He was a couple of years, he got sannyas before Radhanath Swami. And he was almost on the verge of leaving the body. So he took leverage of that situation. He said, I want you to promise me that you're going to write this book, and this is my only request to you as I'm leaving this body. Who could say no to that request? Radhanath Swami did write about himself, the journey home, the journey within. After that book got out, Radhanath Swami did a lot of high-level preaching. He met the US president, he got in touch with many, many ministers, he got into all this high-level preaching, and this is exactly what Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was involved in as well. So we can learn that these are not stories of the past. These success stories are still happening around us. So we can see Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj as well was displaying an act of selflessness. It is not that, times were different and Bhīṣmadeva could do this. No. Amongst us as well, people are displaying, Vaishnavas are displaying this act of selflessness. And that is an important lesson for all of us. Mission. That's it. We see on the news how people are dying every day. People go outside, have a coffee, have a cake, they read the news and life moves on. That is very insensitive. Yes, we don't have to emotionally get involved into the problems outside, but we need to feel the pain of people outside, and that is important. Because unless we feel the pain of people outside, we won't be able to work for their welfare. And that's why our Sankirtan movement is particularly very, very important. Srila Prabhupada was once reading Krishna book to Shrutta Kirti Prabhu, and as he was reading it, he said, this is such a wonderful book. Anyone who reads this book will become a pure devotee. The next sentence he says, anyone who reads just one chapter of this book will become a pure devotee. He goes on to say, anyone who reads just one page of this book will become a pure devotee. Not only that, anyone who reads just one sentence will become a pure devotee. And then Srila Prabhupada said, anyone who reads just one word of this book is going to become a pure devotee. So Shrutta Kirti Prabhu says, when a bit later on when he was in Vrindavan, Shrutta Kirti Prabhu said, Srila Prabhupada used to say this often about many other books as well, Nectar of Devotion, Krishna book, Bhagavad Gita. He would say these things about different books at different times, depending on the person he is meeting. But Shrutta Kirti Prabhu also said, Srila Prabhupada knew I wasn't reading, and this was his way of telling me, start reading. Anyways, getting back to book distribution, I was talking about how Sankirtan movement and book distribution is a good starting point for to display the act of selflessness, because it is when you're distributing a book, you have to keep your ego aside. You have to keep your problems aside. You have to work towards the welfare of others. And then when you stop manipulating things for your own advantage, and you make a sacrifice, that is required, and that is selflessness. So in a moment, we'll see there's so many different services where we need selflessness to be able to perform that service in the right mode with the right attitude. So over here we can see Bhīṣmadeva is trying to pacify Maharaj. And he's trying to pacify Maharaj Yudhishthir. Bhīṣmadeva is trying to pacify Maharaj Yudhishthir. And Maharaj Yudhishthir had already spoken to Lord Krishna. But Lord Krishna could not pacify Maharaj Yudhishthir, so he went to Bhīṣmadeva. And we can see Lord Krishna wants Bhīṣmadeva to be glorified. So, though Bhīṣmadeva was fighting from the side of the wrong, his body was there, but his heart was with Pandavas. And sometimes in life, such things happen with us as well. We are somewhere else, but our heart is somewhere else. And where our heart is, that is important. The position of the heart is more important than the position of the body. So even Yudhishthir Maharaj was not thinking about his victory. He was thinking about the sorrow of everybody else. Of course, he should not be lamenting over bodily sorrow, but nonetheless, he was absorbed in the illusion. Right? Because Krishna wanted Bhīṣmadeva to dispel this illusion. And he wanted everyone to know the glories of Bhīṣmadeva. So Krishna was externally trying to convince Maharaj Yudhishthir to not lament, but within inside he was stopping Maharaj Yudhishthir from understanding what he was saying, because he wanted to glorify Bhīṣmadeva. So what kind of a situation is this? Bhīṣmadeva is thinking about Pandavas, Maharaj Yudhishthir, Lord Krishna. Maharaj Yudhishthir is thinking about Bhīṣmadeva, everyone who's died on the battlefield. Lord Krishna wants to glorify Bhīṣmadeva. No one over here is thinking about themselves. Everyone is thinking about the others. So that is the heart of a Vaishnava. And of course, even the topmost spiritualist cannot understand the plans of Krishna. It is very difficult to understand what the plan of Krishna is. So sometimes in our lives as well, do we really understand what plan of Krishna is? I'm particularly making this point because in this verse it talks about how we have to fulfill the wishes of Krishna, how we have to work towards the plan of Krishna. So the problems that happen in our lives as well, are they given from the mistakes that we make? Are they part of Krishna's plan as well? Something to think about. So we make many mistakes in our life. Are they a part of Krishna's plan as well? If we say everything is Krishna's plan, the mistakes that we are making, are they a part of Krishna to teach us something? No.
The three doers. Krishna explained in Bhagavad Gita.
Yes. So we understand that Krishna's plan, so it is not a part of Krishna's plan to make mistake, but Krishna's plan is resilient enough to encompass or to include those mistakes in our plan. So it's almost like a university where for example, we fail in a subject. So either we can reappear for that subject, or we can do the same grade again, like it happens in India. No one fails over here in primary schools. It's not allowed. As a teacher, I cannot fail anybody. But so the mistakes. So there is resilience enough in the system to encompass or to include mistakes of people, students. Similarly, Krishna's plan has provision for that. But once we realize there are three things it talks about, which we'll discuss in a minute. But we have to understand there is a bigger plan. There is Krishna's plan. There's a beautiful story that all you kids will like over here. Are you ready to listen to this story? It's a very interesting story. I'll ask you a question after that, okay? Ready? Okay. So, there was once a sweeper in a well-known temple. And that sweeper was a very dedicated servant of Lord Krishna. He was very sincere, very devoted. If you have any questions, you have to stop me in the middle and ask me. Okay? And he was a very sincere and devoted servant of Lord Krishna, and every day thousands of devotees, thousands of people would come to take darshan of Lord Krishna. One day he was thinking, Lord Krishna is standing all the time. He must be so tired. He is so tired, and Sweeper was feeling really bad that Krishna is so tired. He has to keep standing every day for thousands of people who comes to take his darshan. So one day, very innocently, now we are getting into the emotion side. So we are reading all these things, but it is very important that at some stage our emotions get involved as well. Because our heart needs to ultimately melt in love for Krishna. So we can see over here, one day, Sweeper very innocently went to Krishna and he said, Krishna, can I take your place for a day? You must be so tired. Probably you can go get some rest and get some relief. So he says that. Now the Krishna replied, actually, you know what? I do not mind taking a break. I will transform you like myself. So what you must do is you must stand here. You must smile continuously. You must give benedictions, but you do not speak anything. Right? Don't say anything. You can give benedictions. Remember, you are the deity. And remember, you must just have enough faith in me. And most importantly, remember that I have a master plan for everybody. So don't try to control anything. Just stand there, smile, and give benedictions. Now the Sweeper agreed to this. The next day, Sweeper took the position of the deity. Now the first person that comes in is a rich man. The rich man prays to Krishna, offers a very nice donation and prays that his business needs to flourish. While going, the rich man accidentally dropped his wallet on the floor. Now the Sweeper in the form of the deity could not call him. He really wanted to say, look, your wallet has fallen down. But he could not call him. So he just controlled and kept smiling. Just then a poor man entered. He put one coin in the donation box and he said, I'm so sorry, Krishna, but this is my last coin and this is all I can afford today. And please keep me engaged in your service. Then he said, my family is in dire need. We don't even have any money to fulfill the basic needs. He said that, and just as he opened the eyes, he saw wallet of that rich man. He said, thank you, Krishna. He took the wallet. He saw money. He was very, very grateful. He took it and he went innocently. Now the deity, the Sweeper, the deity who's standing there, really wanted to say, this is not your wallet. Just leave it there. This is not your money. But he could not say anything because he remembered Krishna's words. And he just said nothing. He just smiled. So he was smiling. At that point in time, a sailor comes in. Sailor comes in and says, I have this, big journey to get into tonight. So please help me so that I have a safe journey when I go on this long trip. Just then, a rich man enters with a policeman, says, somebody has stolen my wallet. Somebody has stolen my wallet. He says that he sees the sailor and says, this man has stolen my wallet. And we need to arrest him. So the police arrests sailor. Now, again, the deity knows what's happening and he really wanted to say something. Now he was smiling, but he was frustrated. It was all mixed emotions. Just then the sailor looked at Krishna and said, what is happening? Please come and help me. And please come and help me. What is happening? The rich man said, thank you, Krishna. You helped me. You found a thief for my wallet. So one person was thanking. The other person was begging because he knew I was innocent. Now the Sweeper could not tolerate this anymore. He thought, even if real Krishna was present here, he'll take charge of this situation and he will say something. He assumed that. And once he assumed that, he started speaking. He said, okay, sailor is not the thief, it's the poor man who took the money away. The rich man was so now finally the rich man was grateful that, okay, he found the wallet. Sailor was grateful that, okay, situation is resolved, he's not in the jail. And poor man obviously got into trouble for what he did. And he had done that innocently. In the night, real Krishna came. He asked the Sweeper, how was your day? Sweeper said, I thought it would be very easy, but now I know your days are not easy at all. But I did one good thing. When I was standing here, I did one good thing. And then he explained the whole episode to Lord Krishna. Krishna told him, why did you not stick to my plan? You had no faith in me. Did you not think do you think I do not understand the hearts of everybody who come in here? You should have trusted me. I had a plan for everybody. All the donation that the rich man gave was the stolen money. And he only gave a part of the donation, part of the money that he has. Only a fraction of and he wanted me to reciprocate with him unlimitedly. And he only gives me a little bit of what he has. The single coin offered by the poor man was the last coin he was having, and he gave it to me out of faith. And in return, he was asking me for my service. The sailor might have not done anything wrong, but if the sailor were in the ship that night, he was going to die. Because the currents were going to be bad because of bad weather. And instead, if he was arrested, he would be in jail all night, and he would be saved from a greater calamity. So my wallet should be going to the poor man because he will use it in my service. I was going to reduce the rich man's karma also by doing this and save the sailor also. But you cancelled everything. And you thought, you know my plan and you made your own plans. So this is us in real life as well. We try to make all these plans and we try to take control of everything. But well, Krishna is the controller. We are only the servers. So Krishna has plans and justice for everybody, for each one of us. There is justice and plans. We just have to be patient. We just need to be tolerant. And most importantly, we need to have faith in Krishna. So Krishna had a bigger plan for Bhīṣmadeva. Bhīṣmadeva is glorified and will be glorified over decades to come as one of the Mahajans. So Krishna had a bigger plan for him, despite him being on the side of Kauravas. So the seed idea that we can see in these verses is, every time we are in tribulations, we go through some problems, we have any sort of painful situations in our life, what should we do in those sort of circumstances? We have to rely on three things. What are the three things they're talking about in this verse? The number one principle is, yes, we have to take shelter of devotees, Vaishnavas, Guru, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru. We have to take shelter of all these people around us. And we have to follow the instruction. The second one is, we have to have faith in Krishna and believe in the plan of Krishna. We have to trust Krishna completely. And number three is, we have to follow the codes of Dharma. We all have some dharmic duties. We need to nicely follow the codes of Dharma. And those are the three principles for us to be able to remain peaceful even in the most turbulent times. So this is something that as devotees, we must always be striving for. We must always abide by these three principles. And when we abide by these three principles, what happens is, we understand that serving is our department, controlling is Krishna's department. We just need to keep doing our services nicely, and the results are not dependent on us. The results is something that Krishna takes care of. So because Dharma is protected by Dharma, right? Dharma is protected by Dharma. There's a well-known verse which says, Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. So when you protect Dharma, Dharma protects you. And likewise, the converse is also true. When you violate Dharma, then Dharma is destroyed. So it works both ways. So it's very important that when the third principle is we have to follow the codes of Dharma, we need to follow those principles nicely. And this is likewise a message. So when you're facing a difficulty, any difficulty in life, so no one over here doesn't have any difficulty, right? All of us have some sort of difficulty. It might be physical, it might be emotional, it might be financial. There's some sort of difficulties that we all go through. And during that point, we need to step back. We need to see, okay, am I listening to following the instructions of the senior Vaishnavas, the Guru, Shiksha Gurus around us? Am I trusting in the plan of Krishna? Am I following the codes of Dharma? If I'm doing all these things, then you should not be affected at all. But if there is anything that we are not doing, then we'll be affected. So then we need to correct ourselves. We need to step back and correct ourselves. And then get our principles back in line. So every time we have a problem, think if we are following these 3 principles, if we are not, any of the principle is broken, we step back, correct our mistakes and keep moving. So that way, when we keep moving, then these sufferings won't affect us that much. It's easier to say, hard to follow, but at least we can try. Right? So, as I'm about to conclude towards the end, I just wanted to share one little last pastime, again of Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, because he talks about, how we are talking about these 3 principles, we need to step back, correct it. Why are we doing all of that? What's going to happen when we correct ourselves and get back into action? What's going to happen? What is the ultimate goal of everything that we are doing? We need to move closer to Krishna. So when we are stepping back to correct ourselves, we are taking steps closer towards Krishna. And as we take steps closer towards Krishna, we will experience real emotions. Then we are not just reading, we'll be experiencing, we'll be having an we'll be emotional about certain things that we read. And it's important to experience them, those emotions as well. Like Bhīṣmadeva, he started crying when he saw Lord Krishna. That's real emotion. He wasn't saying, oh Lord Krishna, why did you do this to me? Why did you put me in so much trouble? No, he was crying in love for Pandavas, in love for Lord Krishna. So even we need to go through those feelings where our heart is melting and we are able to cry for Lord Krishna. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, who was suffering from melanoma cancer, like I said, he used to spend a lot of time with Radhanath Swami towards the end of his life. He was in so much pain that he was paralyzed from waist down, his only top body, and his body used to tremble, like literally he used to move and shake. He was in that much pain. But he never cried or anything, he never complained, but his body used to tremble. So one time he was seated on a chair and Radhanath Swami was seated next to him. As Radhanath Swami was speaking, Radhanath Swami realized that Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj is not able to focus on anything, is not able to focus on what Radhanath Swami is saying. So then Radhanath Swami starts chanting. He started chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And as he was chanting, tears started pouring down out of Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj's eyes. He started pouring, he was weeping. And he said, it cannot get better than this. It cannot get better than this. So Radhanath Maharaj asked him, what do you mean it cannot get better than this? He said, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj said, I would not trade my position for anyone in the world because I am tasting the sweetness of Krishna's names. Now imagine his body is still trembling. His body is going up and down, but his consciousness is very, very elevated. He said, I can taste the sweetness of Krishna's names. That's why I don't want to trade this position with anybody else. And then he had the biggest smile, year to year, the biggest smile on his face. His face lit up and he said, I am feeling Krishna's love. I know where I'm going and I'm ready to go. And then he said, it does not get any better than this. So we are talking about people over here who are great devotees. Do we feel that love when chanting happens? Sometimes I often hear youth saying this, we love kirtans, but chanting is something that is not happening. Even us, for that matter, not just the youth. We love kirtans, but chanting just can't do. Andhra Prabhu says to that, if you say that you love kirtans, but you don't like chanting, it's incorrect. You're doing something miserably wrong. It basically means if you love kirtan and do not like chanting, which means you only like the music in kirtan. You don't like words that are being chanted, which are being sung. So if you really, really from your heart like kirtan, then you have to love chanting as well equally. And my Guru Maharaj says, it's almost like a cold shower. Chanting is like a cold shower. It just opens you up warm, and then kirtan is like a warm shower. Just warm shower. Calms you down. Both showers are required. Srila Prabhupada said in the morning we need cold shower, at night we need warm showers. Both kind of showers are required and they are important. So over here what we are talking about is some really exceptional, elevated devotees. We are talking about people whose consciousness is so high, supremely high, that they're detached and they're compassionate at the same time, which is a very rare quality to achieve. It's not easy to achieve that. Right? Sometimes they say, I live so simply, simple living and high thinking. I live so simply, I've got nothing, no television, nothing. But then even those situations can put us in pride. Oh, I live so simply. I believe in simple living and high thinking. Even that's a matter of pride. Instead, if we start using everything like we know in Krishna's service, keeping Krishna in the center, and trusting Krishna and understanding it's a part of his master plan, then we are moving closer to Krishna. Then everything that we are doing is justified. Then our emotions are valid. Then we experience real emotions. I've heard a lot of people, I've not been to Mayapur yet. I've heard a lot of people who go to Mayapur, when they see deities for the first time, they have this pouring, they have this outpour when they see the deities. And that is, I want to experience that. When I go to Mayapur, I want to feel that. And I think each one of us need to feel that, because that is going to keep us connected to Krishna. So in conclusion, in summary, the message is to Maharaj Yudhishthir in this particular text is that the circumstances in life may be very extreme. But just remember these three important principles. Follow the codes of Dharma. Follow the instructions of Vaishnavas and your Guru. And third one is, what was it? Yes. Yes, sorry. Take shelter of the devotees. Yeah. So those were the three principles we always have to follow. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to share with me. Would you like to say did you like the story? What did you like? What was the best part? Yes.
But he didn't follow it, and then he realized what would happen when he did it.
Yes.
When he tried to think over myself without Krishna there.
Yes. Do you think you can apply this in your school? You can. You can. Think about it, okay? Anybody else? Any comments or? Yes. Yes.
The same thing.
Yes.
We should take shelter of you.
Yes.
So how can we look after them or follow their advice? Or?
Yes, Prabhu, following instructions. Okay, there are many things to this. It's a very big topic. But, yes, simply put, so we have different types. For example, if you're looking at taking instructions, we have to be very careful of whom we are taking instructions from as well. Because different people are at different levels of consciousness. So we need to realize, I had heard this once that, okay, I should not say that, forget it. But we have to be careful of whom we are taking the advice from. They need to be, and that can be displayed through their sadachar, the behavior that you will be able to understand. I would not say every initiated devotee. It depends on whom you're compatible with, whom you can share your heart with. Because the person on the other end also needs to understand your situation in life. You might be I might give you an instruction, but you are at a different situation in your life. So it might not work. So a lot of seniors have that understanding of how to deal with, how to give instructions as well. So probably if you have a Shiksha Guru in your life, that Shiksha Guru is a good starting point to guide you, to help you, to instruct you. Yes. So Shiksha Guru is basically this is my understanding. Why do we need to be independent? Like we think we need to be independent. How can I take instructions from anybody? Just rely completely on your Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru. You don't even have to bother about thinking anything. Just trust them completely and your life will be easy. So if you find someone in your life, If you don't have anyone, you need to look for someone. And if you have someone, you should be able to open up your heart to that person, share what you're thinking, and then that person will instruct you. So that's one thing. But otherwise, you can serve Vaishnavas in different ways, like you.
So shelter of devotees means open up your heart to them.
That is one aspect. But that is one aspect to it. There are many other aspects to this, taking shelter as well. One of the other things I was thinking was, how we are talking about serving Vaishnavas. I was talking about serving Vaishnavas as well. Like, I know that you go for Mangala Aarti every morning. That's a service as well.
I missed it.
Krishna understands. No, but even that's a part of the service. So everything where we keep Krishna in the center becomes a service. And everything else is material. So I hope I answered your question. Would one of you like to add anything to that, or is that okay?
Say something.
Yes.
I really didn't listen to his question, but I was in another mood. But I was listening to your answer. But what I feel is, he's actually looking for guidance or something.
Yes.
Where he can really open up.
Yes.
And maybe from my experience, what I feel is, if you are really sincere and if you are really asking for guidance, if you are a sincere devotee of Krishna, you can ask sincerely from your heart for guidance from him. And no matter, it will come in a form. You will recognize it. But it will come in the right time only.
Yes.
Until then, you have to keep on begging with your full heart.
Yes.
If you keep on asking for that guidance, it will take a form.
Yes.
It will.
Yes.
Maybe may not be in the way that you think it should come, but you should be open to it.
Yes. 100%. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, she's right. You must be open to that, but when the help comes, we need to be ready to take it as well. Yes, Prabhu.
So, some of the words are very heavy, but we can use some light words. So first of all, we have to have a relationship with someone. And once you have a relationship, then you can discuss general things, and then experience devotees, they immediately know, what situation someone is. And then when we taking shelter or giving instruction, these are not very heavy words. These are actually something like a guide. They give you a guide, this is what we do, we progress nicely. And then when Mataji said about praying to Krishna sincerely, yes, we have to also understand there is we pray to Krishna very sincerely, but then also externally we have to have that intelligence to discriminate between the mind and the super soul. Sometimes the mind will tell you, this is my guru.
Yes.
But then, it might not be true. So we have to be very careful. And again, for that discrimination, we need to approach someone. There is book Bhāgavatam, there is personal Bhāgavatam also. Prabhupada said that, not that everyone might be pure devotee, but as long as they are following Krishna, as they are following the Shastra, you can approach them. So all we do is just make friendship, do some service together, and that's how this whole community is developed. Yeah. It's not that, people are, taking instructions, we just guide each other, we help each other. Something very small we discuss, and something, one thing leads to another. And that way it happens. So relationship has to be established by serving together, most importantly. And that's why whenever devotees come here, devotees always are eager to engage others in service, because once you start serving, the heart gets cleaned quickly, and then it becomes very easy to receive someone else's message. Otherwise, it's, yes, instruction can be coming, message can be coming, but if our heart is not ready, it won't work. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Does that satisfy you? Thank you. Anybody else? Any questions or comments? Yes.
Two comments. Firstly, about the kirtan that you mentioned. Someone asked Bhakti Charu Maharaj once that, Maharaj, we see a lot of devotees, they are quite, enthusiastic when, the kirtan is organized and they all come. But there is no one in Srīmad Bhāgavatam class. So, can you please comment on that? So Maharaj said exactly the same thing which you related, that if they are only coming to kirtans and not coming to listen to Krishna Katha, then that means that their attraction is only towards the music and not towards the quality, pastimes, forms of Krishna,
Yes.
which is manifested by the holy names. If really one is attracted to the holy names of Krishna, then they will listen to Krishna's pastimes, especially from Srīmad Bhāgavatam.
Yes.
In relation to this verse, as Bhīṣmadeva says, "Aho kashtam aho anyayam," what sufferings and what injustice you all have been through. However, when we look at the lives of Pandavas, there is hardly any sense of complaint
Yes.
that they are giving to anyone. And so, if we feel that we are going through suffering and we are going through injustice, Pandav's example is the best example, that we only, have to do what they did, is take shelter of Vipra, Dharma and Achyuta.
Yes.
And that's all is needed, even to mitigate our own sufferings.
Yes.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you.
And thank you for relating that nice story. You reminded me of my Guru Maharaj, who told that story in a very humorous way.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Yes.
I asked one devotee sometimes, you work so hard, and like at this age, and then like, how do you maintain your health? He said, I run so fast that disease cannot catch up with me. And one pastime which I mentioned before here about the mission and the compassion. Once Chittahari Prabhu was driving Prabhupada to Melbourne CBD to drop him to the Melbourne airport. And Chittahari Prabhu is driving him, and he's thinking within himself that he's so fortunate that he's driving the Jagat Guru, the savior of the whole world, that he's got that fortune of driving him. And then he looked at Prabhupada, and Prabhupada had tears in his eyes. And then he asked Prabhupada, is something okay? Prabhupada said, look at all these people. They're so morose. We still have to save them, and my heart is crying out of compassion for them.
Yes.
Chittahari Prabhu immediately realized that yes, a lot of work has to be done. So same thing is mission. We have a lot of work to do.
Yes.
We can never ever be satisfied. But yes, now I can rest.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for reminding us that. Anybody else? Last comments, questions? No? Thank you so much. Then Grantaraj Srīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Actually, some of these are very easier said than done. When you go through these things, the real test comes when you are following these three: Brahman, Dharma, and Achyuta. It's not easy because as we know, Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, he was not bewildered by any allurements. For him, like how we are bewildered by allurements, he was not bewildered by allurements. He was bewildered by confusion. What is the right thing to do? And many times for us also, when we go through these things, we don't know what is the right thing to do. And that is where you need advice from someone who's senior. Sorry.
No, that.
Prabhu, on Sunday, we don't get an email what text number and what this is going to be.
No, if you are on the group, then you get it.
If we are on what?
Are you on the WhatsApp group?
The Zoom classes.
WhatsApp group today, we did not get any.
We haven't been sending on for Sunday, but we can do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I came late. Sorry about that, and I don't know what SB number
Yes.
and that was.
Yes. No, we can.
Actually, that's a good
I can
suggestion.
always,
Yes.
read.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu, for the
This is not available on iCloud.
Sorry?
This is recording is not available on iCloud. And
It is there.
It is there on YouTube. Yeah. YouTube and Facebook. YouTube and Facebook. Both.
This is available every day.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Facebook only on Saturday and Sunday. YouTube every day.